This episode of Roddy Radio is brought to you by Yesi Puerto Vallarta Mexican Restaurant and Bar. They have tacos, tienen carnes asadas, pollo a la crema, enchiladas, burritos. They also have seafood such as camarones a la diabla. That's the kind of stuff that can really re-energize even the weakest part of your body, if you know what I mean. And of course, they do have a full-service bar. Go ahead and check them out. Happy hour is from 4 to 6 p.m. at that bar, serving up some of the best drinks here in Southeast Idaho. They are located at 2668 East Sunnyside Road in Ammon. That's in the same plaza as Brolim's. Go check them out. Go have a meal. Go have a drink. Tell these guys that Roddy Radio sent you. Just so they know that the advertising is working. They continue to support the show. We really appreciate them supporting the show. But let's go ahead and get started. Maria's acting like it's her first time on this show. Are you nervous, Maria?
A little bit.
We talked about what was happening today, last night, and today.
You're going to talk about it?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I was going to say, I haven't seen you, like 2 weeks?
You haven't
so you should
seen
have
me
lots
since
to
like
talk about.
Thursday.
Was that barely last week?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Were we at the cemetery just a week ago then?
No.
Oh, I guess that's right. You were at the cemetery.
That
like
was 2 weeks ago.
And then we did that scrapped one 2 days after that. So.
Oh, yeah.
It was Tuesday and then that Thursday.
Did we not do one last week?
Uh-uh.
Oh.
I recorded one over Zoom. At
Oh,
home,
okay.
Which came out today.
Oh, okay.
But, you know.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I haven't seen you after that?
I don't think so.
Oh. We've just been talking a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's crazy with the phones. Isn't that good that we can keep in contact? I haven't
I
seen.
know.
Yeah. I haven't seen my
talked to you.
brothers. I haven't seen my brothers in years, but I talk to them all the time. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And the one that lives here, I hardly talk to him. It's funny. It's like, ¿cómo está? And
Yeah.
I just don't talk to him.
That's
So I
funny.
feel like I talk to my other two brothers a lot more than
Yeah.
the one that lives here. But we're back at it again with Maria, like we said, and with Angelica from 1614 Revival Foundation again. Back again for part 2. How you doing, Angelica?
Good, good. How are you?
Doing pretty good. But yeah, let's go ahead and get into this. What were you guys talking about right now? You wanted to go over what you guys have been through the last 2 weeks?
Yeah. It's just good to talk about things like that, just to hopefully raise awareness and hopefully other people can start opening up to start healing.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. Last couple of weeks, I mean, you've been on a roller coaster, huh, Maria?
I have. Yeah. You know, when we recorded last time for the first episode of this with Angelica, and you posted it and I reposted, I got messages like crazy, you know, and a lot of people reached out to me and said, like, I'm glad you're talking about it. You know, it's made me be able to talk about what's happened with me, and just like everybody that's gone through things that I had no idea, you know. And I mean, I don't know. I've been on this journey of like finding myself and loving myself and being healthier, and just not just physically, mentally, emotionally, you know. There's been a lot of things that I've gone through and things that I haven't talked about. Like I've talked about certain things, like with my marriages, that a lot of people know about now. But I haven't talked about like my past before, you know, when I was younger. A lot of people thought I grew up here in the United States my whole life. But I came here when I was 9 years old. My parents brought me here illegally when I was 9. And, you know, that created a lot of problems growing up here until I got older. And I think that was another reason why I was taken advantage from my first ex-husband, because he knew I was illegal. And
He like hold that over your head, huh?
yeah,
Like,
he would
threaten you
use
with
it to
that stuff?
blackmail me. Yeah.
That's bad.
Yeah, to blackmail me and my family. Like there was times where he would say, like, if you even try or do anything, like, I'm going to make sure you and your parents get deported and your brothers. And then the 2 little ones were born here. So he would say, like, you're going to get separated and I'm going to make sure they get separated. They're going to go into the system. You'll never see them again. And I was 12 and 13 when my 2 little brothers were born. So I raised those 2 little ones. Like, they weren't my brothers. They were my kids, you know. Up until even like after I got married, like we got with my second ex-husband, We even got a bigger apartment just so that they could have extra rooms in there to have my brothers over. They helped me with my kids when they were growing up, you know, before they moved out and started their own lives. But yeah, when I was younger, something I told Angelica, I think it's really good to speak about, is as a kid, you know, up until even today's the only day I haven't received any messages. It's been over a week that I posted on my Facebook something that I went through as a child. It's really scary to know that I wasn't the only one, and to find out that there's, oh gosh, I've received probably about 50 people like messages on Snapchat because they don't want to be known who they are, on Instagram, on my personal page on Facebook. They've texted me just to tell me about, you know, things that they've went through as a child, and it's crazy. And the amount of women as well that have told me that their moms didn't support them, didn't believe them. I'm just in shock.
Yeah. I guess that's the harder to believe part because, you know, the predators were out there.
Yeah.
And we know that, but it's just so hard to believe that your mother wouldn't take your side on something.
Right. Yeah. I know with the, so there was different instances that I went through as a kid, as a child, like 3 years old, 4 years old, and 6 years old I remember the ages because I remember like how old my sibling was when this was happening.
That's kind of how you...
Yeah, that's how I measure time, or what grade I was in school too. So I haven't talked about the ones publicly about what's happened to me when I was even younger, because the people that did those things to me were also kids. They molested me. And I think like it's different to hold them accountable because they were also, I mean, there's a reason why they were little, you know, they didn't know what they were doing. They were taught at some point to do those things.
Were they like your age also, or like slightly older?
Just a little bit older than me. The one was about 3 years older than me. Another one was about 5 years older. There was one that did not get to the point, but he was about 8 to 10 years older than me. He was probably a teen.
Yeah, see, that's something you can definitely hold someone like that accountable, I think.
Yeah, but the adult that I spoke about, he was an adult. I mean, he had so many kids already, you know, and he didn't do this just to me. He did it to other neighbors, to other kids, people related to him. And like I don't want to talk about, you know, who he names or anything like that because it's not my story to tell. Like if they want to talk about it one day, it took me 27 years to talk about it. It was super hard to talk about it because I've been holding it in for so many years.
Yeah.
That my mom didn't even know. I mean, she was so upset with me when it happened when I was 3 and 4 years old. She beat the crap out of me. And it told me I wasn't allowed to talk about that subject, that it wasn't allowed, that it was bad. So when it happened to me when I was 6 years old, I was scared to death.
You knew not to talk about it
anymore. I knew it wasn't allowed. And I was scared to death of my mom. And I said, she's going to kill me. Like, if she knows what happened, she's going to kill me.
Yeah.
So I never told her. And it wasn't until like I was about 15 years old that things started coming back. You know, you're starting to obviously learn about sex and things like that. Speak with other kids, other people like your age, you know, and then that's when it hits you. I also started counseling when I was 15 years old. I don't think I told my counselor what had happened with that person, but there was some comments that were made. My counselor was a male, and every single day that I would come in, he would get up and he would try to give me a hug.
That's weird.
Yeah. Well, I think it was a way to find out about me.
Like to see if you like squirmed away or...
Yeah. It was about the third day that this happened. He said, something happened to you in your childhood.
Oh, okay. So it was just a tactic. He wanted to see how you reacted to...
Yeah, he did many, many tests with me. And all of them showed different things like, this has happened to you, hasn't it? He didn't make me talk about it, but he said, something happened to you in your childhood that you don't trust adults. And because I pulled away, I would pull away. I would do the little side hug, And I still am like that with men. I don't like to get close until I am close, Something has to happen between me and other males in order for me to feel closer to them. Like, it has to be some time. I don't give out hugs,
Yeah. It's
scary to me. I don't trust even my dad. I remember my dad a few years ago, before I quit talking to him, I went to go visit, and he goes, Flor, I need to talk to you. And he gave me a hug, and I was just like, oh no. And he gave me a kiss on my forehead, and he said, I had a dream that I died, and I have never given you a kiss, and I never hug you. And yeah, like every time they would go visit me, my mom always give me a side hug, and my dad shook my hand. Like, I don't know, we didn't have any like closeness in our family, so it was really awkward, like, for him to give me a hug and a kiss on the forehead, because we're not affectionate.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm super like.
I mean, I think that would have maybe even helped him figure out something was going on. If you were like the way I'm very affectionate with my daughter, she's all over me all the time. Mm-hmm. So it's like, if there comes a day when I put my arm around her and she squirms away, it's like, it's a dead giveaway. Like, what the fuck? Something's up. Yeah.
Yeah, and that's what my counselor said. He said something happened to you, and I don't remember telling him about this this man. I don't know how old he was, but he's passed away now. I believe he was in his 80s, so he must have been in his 40s, late 40s when this happened. I mean, old enough to know what he was doing.
Yeah.
And he didn't do it just to little girls. Like, it was to little boys as well. It's so crazy. It's so crazy to me. It's scary that I talked about it now, but I feel like I came out and did it at the right time for me.
Yeah.
Even though people are mad at me, and I've had threats, not only to me, to my family, and to my business. I'm still like, I'm okay that I spoke about it, because I feel like I'm helping other people heal at the same time. Mm-hmm. And it helped me heal. Honestly, like the last few months, I've been going, the last couple years. But the last few months, like, it's just been so hard for me mentally, with a lot of things going on in my life, personally, and I mean, with the business, everything. And I have never been more at peace than the last week.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
And the people are threatening you, like his kids, right? And his family. Yeah. His family's been threatening me, saying that I'm a liar. I mean, I went out. I didn't ask for anything. But it really upsets me that these people keep talking so good about him. Yeah. Is that kind of what made you? Yeah. I mean, okay. So in 2020, I believe it was 2020 when he died. 2021. I was going through the divorce already. And I remember they posted about it, and man, I didn't sleep for like 3 nights, because I was like, I didn't get my peace. Yeah. They posted about him dying? Yeah. Okay. The whole family posted about him dying, and just how sad they were. And I'm like, how are these people? Like, I know some of these people that were abused by him. And they were saying they were sad about him passing? And I'm just like, just because a person dies does not mean that you need to talk good about him. If he was a bad person, you don't have to say he was a bad person, but don't talk. Just don't say anything, don't say good things that aren't true. Yeah. It's okay, like, I understand, like, you're supposed to keep what do you call that? Like, you're supposed to be good to the dead, like, this man does not deserve peace. Yeah, there's some people out there that don't. Honestly, and me speaking about it, I hope he's turning in his grave. Yeah. I'm not an evil person, but you know what? He is an evil man, and he deserves
whatever he got.
Yeah.
I know they posted about him years ago that he got some type of cancer. It was what is that cancer? Like the males get
Prostate
cancer.
Prostate cancer.
I believe that's what they said it was. And when I seen that, I wasn't laughing, but I was like, that is so well deserved.
Yeah.
Like who would have known? You know, like God did what he was supposed to do.
And if anyone thinks that's sick of you to like revel in that kind of information, it's like that's his fault.
I'm not laughing about it, but I'm like,
that's what
I'm
he
grateful.
Made. That's what he made you into, is somebody that can laugh at something, or not laugh at, but
and yeah, like I'm not laughing about it, but he like I know that he well deserved that.
Yeah.
And it's not okay what he did. He knew what he was doing. It's not okay. Yes, a few years before that, I believe before 2020, I got invited to their 50th wedding anniversary in Oregon. I have lots of family in Oregon. And like, let me go back to, you know, when I first, everything came back at 15 and I realized, you know, what had happened to me and that it wasn't okay. I would tell myself all the time that I was going to go back to Mexico one day and kill him. I was that angry. And to find out who else he did it to, it made me even more angry with him. For years, I would say that was my life goal, was to go back to Mexico and go kill him. And one day I finally talked about it with somebody that I was really, really close to. And her mom said to me, like, Flor, you're such a good person. You did not deserve that. But God does not believe in like, you know, for revenge. You to take revenge on your own. He will do what he needs to do for you to get peace from that. That's not okay for you to think that way. You need to learn forgiveness. And so it took me some time to be like, you know what, she's right. I don't need to go kill him because, you know, then it wouldn't make me any better than what he did. So I said, you know, but everybody's going to find out who he is. I will make sure of that. Years went by and then I get invited to this wedding and I said, I need to go to that wedding. I'm going to that wedding. I don't care what it takes me, but I'm going to that wedding. I remember, I think my son was already born. He was just a little baby. And I'm like, I'll pack up all my things and go. And I will tell everybody there. But then I thought, you know, like a lot of people are there. People that don't deserve to have this wedding ruined. You know, like they all have their money and their resources and everything that they came here to visit and have a good time. They don't deserve for it to be ruined because of this man. And so I took a step back and I said, you know what? The time will come. Then he died. And I was really upset because I didn't get my peace.
Yeah. You didn't get to like confront him about it.
Yeah. I didn't get to hold him accountable. But then, you know, 3.5 years went by and it's almost like he's still alive. Like they're idolizing him. Yeah. Just talking about how great and how amazing he was and how handsome. And no. First of all, like, no, and he's not handsome at all. He's disgusting. Like, I do remember exactly what he looked like, how he felt. His hands were always covered in cement. They were rough. And I was just a little girl. I was 6 years old. And he did, like, unspeakable things to me. And it's not okay. It's not okay for anybody to go through that. And sadly, it's like we take care of our kids, you know. I know I don't speak for myself. I think all of us, we take care of our kids. Like we always tell them, don't talk to strangers. Like don't go with anybody that calls you or bribes you with anything. But the people that we need to take care of our children from, our family, close people. That's who are our predators, you know. It's not people that we don't know.
And they take advantage of that for that reason because they have that trust from the parents.
Yeah. And of course, like that's the first thing they say. Don't tell your parents. Don't tell anybody because they're not going to believe you. Yeah. Or they threaten you. They threaten that they're gonna kill you or that they're gonna kill your loved ones. You know, my ex used to say that all the time, that he was gonna kill my loved ones.
Yeah.
He was gonna take them away from me, and it makes you scared. It makes you stop. Like you don't want to do it. But I'm thankful that I did. Like I said, I have had so many people reach out to me. They've told me their story. People that haven't been able to ever say their story. And I think that's a way to heal. Like, it helps you heal, because it just, I don't know, it opens something inside of you that you've been keeping for so long. Yeah, I'm really glad that I did. And it's like to bring awareness that this is the reason why we don't speak.
Yeah.
Because we're scared.
Was that scary when you started getting threats and nonstop calls and messages and shit?
It did. It was so scary.
Did you think about taking the post down and the video down and everything?
I did at first, because they said, you know what, maybe they're right. Like they're asking me to like be thoughtful of their family, that they don't need to be paying for what he did. Yeah. But at the same time, like I don't expect an apology from them, because they're not the ones that hurt me.
Yeah. Yeah, it'd be different if you were on there like blaming them or
and
trying to hold them accountable for something they weren't responsible for.
But some of these people do know what he did, and they're also keep idolizing him.
Yeah, that's so weird.
They know what he did, but yet they keep.
And that's where I'm not okay with it.
And that's so weird to me, especially the ones that were also victims. Like, I understand staying quiet and not wanting to talk about it. I get that. But to
tell me to shut up about it. Yeah. And that they
weren't even like, it was mean. Like, she got a lot of mean messages, like to the point where she was like, I can't look at my phone anymore.
That's
bad. Yeah. I went 9 hours without even turning on my phone, because it just went off and off and off and off. And at first, like, I was busy. I went to the gym. After I posted it, I went, I had my counseling, in the morning for 2 hours. And while I was at the counselor's, I got 12 calls and messages. And then I went home. I had to go get groceries or something. And then I was driving home, and I'm like, okay, they're not stopping. And then I finally started to read them. And it was nice. A family member did come out to me and apologize to me. And he said, I can't, an apology for me is not going to help, heal anything or help you with anything. But I want you to know that I'm very sorry this happened to you.
Yeah.
And it wasn't okay. And it's a family of mine, and I'm sorry that this happened to you. I believe you. And just to hear somebody believe me, But the other people that I know that he did this, like, that's where it upset me. And then to get the threats and then telling me to die and go to hell, and that they were going to sue me. And I honestly didn't even respond. I had so many clever things to say to them. I don't need to be mad at them. I understand, like, I'm hurting their family member. I'm talking about their family member, and it hurts them, but they're not dumb. Yeah. They know who he was.
Yeah.
For them to try to quiet me and tell me, like, all these evil things, that they're going to come beat me up themselves, that hurts, because they know who he was. And for them to keep defending him. And I said, like, that's one thing about me is if I say something, I mean it.
Yeah.
And I don't take it back.
And you finally decided to, because you told me about these things that happened to you as a child a long time ago. Like one of the first times where we just where we'd finish podcasting and then we'd stick around just conversing for hours. But it surprised me how you not glossed over it. You didn't necessarily gloss over it, but it was just kind of factual, fact of the matter. Like, this is what happened. Yeah. But you weren't like
emotional.
Yeah, you weren't emotional. You weren't talking about how it affected you deeply.
Right.
But I mean, I figured it probably did, but it was kind of surprising that you were not at that time, that you were able to talk about it without breaking down or without getting super emotional.
Yeah. I think like it just triggered me that night, that I just keep seeing all these posts, it's years later and they're still idolizing him, still talking so great about him when he's not. And I said, you know what? It's finally time. Like, it's not okay. It's not okay for them to be saying this. And so I went on and I did a live, because I said I have so many people messaging me. I don't have time to respond to everybody.
Just get out
and I said, I'm gonna go out. I'm gonna say this, and if I'm also gonna say, like, don't contact me again. Don't threaten me again, because I didn't post it publicly. I have a limited amount of friends on there. And so the people that were probably screenshotting it and sending it to other people, they weren't my friends. And I'm getting hundreds of friend requests a day. And I was just like, Angelica, like, you know, I'm getting all these friend requests. Like, I wonder if they're wanting to speak too. I don't know why I'm getting so many friend requests. And it was just like overnight. And I said on that live, I said, you know, I don't want to get threats again. Like, do not threaten my family or my business, or I'm going to go live about it. I'm going to post it publicly. Like, I was so nervous about that. Like, when I say something, I mean it. And as soon as I turned off the live. I wasn't planning to be emotional and, you know, go on so much about it. But I seen they were watching me.
Yeah.
And I'm like, they need to believe me. They know it happened. And I gain nothing from this other than peace. You know, I'm not asking them for money to shut me up. But I posted this to my friends only, and they didn't stop. And the moment they didn't stop and they kept going and threatening me and talking bad about me, I said, okay, that's it. Like, no more Mr. Nice Guy, you know? So I posted it publicly. I haven't checked it anymore, but I think on the second day I already had 6,000 views on that video.
Yeah, a lot.
So I don't know.
The nice thing about your video, though, is that every single emotion that you had, everything that you said, like, the whole world felt everything that you were saying. And so that goes to show, like, you're not a liar. You had that held back for so long, and it felt so good to finally get it out. You felt everything. I felt everything. I told you. I'm like, dude, I bawled. Like, you can feel every single emotion that you felt. But that's why you feel so much better now, is because you held that back for more than you should have. And now you have all of this room to be able to fill it with things that you love and things that you want to do. Like, you now have that freedom, and that's why you feel so good.
Yeah. I can't even describe the feeling. I don't know if you guys like have ever taken a really deep shower where you scrub everything, and, you know, you come out and you clean your ears and you put on lotion, and, you know, after doing that live, like, that's exactly how I felt. I felt clean.
Just felt clean finally.
I felt clean. And just that peace. Like, I didn't have anxiety because I had anxiety that whole morning. Like, they're all messaging me, they're calling me, they're telling me, you know, to stop. But after that live, like, it just stopped.
The hard part's over now. You talked about it. So.
You were like messaging me too, and you're like, I've got to do this. I just have to do it. And sometimes you have to take that extra step and just do it scared, because if you don't, you're just gonna be still.
You're just gonna live in that limbo, nervousness, anxiety.
Yeah. And I've been, you know, it's still scary. It is scary. I have kids and I have a business, you know, that they can go after. It is scary, but also I'm not scared at the same time.
Yeah. Because you did the right thing, and that's what we need to normalize is doing the right thing and being okay about it. Yeah. Because the norm right now is to keep quiet. Yeah. And that's why predators continue to do this type of thing.
Yes.
Especially like close people.
Yeah. Once it's normalized that, you know, if I do it, she's going to talk, she's going to tell the world, she's going to show something on social media, and everybody's going to know about it. Right. They're going to fucking think twice about it.
Yeah. And that is a message I was trying to make when I did that video. It's like, this is why we don't talk, because we get shut down, we get threats, we get, you know, told it's not okay. Yeah. And for everybody to see that it was okay for me to do it, because I know a lot of women look up to me, even men look up to me, and so I was very happy that it makes me feel powerful and even more amazing, you know, that I am somebody people look up to me, because I was able to speak about it, and it made them speak about it too, and it makes them be more open, and maybe even to stop it from happening. Like you said, now that people know it's people are speaking about it, like, it's gonna make them think about it twice before they do it. Yeah. And
I hope that becomes normal. And that's what I tell both my daughters all the time, even as little as the youngest one is. It's, you know, show them, like, okay, this is your private area. Nobody needs to be touching that. Yep. If I have to, if your mom has to, maybe a doctor if we're present.
Yeah.
Other than that, nobody else. And if someone does, you tell us right away.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I think that's we've had different doctors, you know, with my kids, and the last one we had, the doctor said, hey, like, I'm gonna have your siblings go out. You know, each sibling was separate. Your mom's gonna stay in here, and the nurse is also gonna be in here, but I want to talk to you about this and this and that. And just so you know, like, mom and daddy are supposed to clean, but there's certain things they're not allowed to do.
Yeah.
And I love that. I had never had a doctor do that. And I think that's great.
That is great.
So
That
I'm
is
glad
cool.
more people are also like aware
Just
of this,
being,
you know?
you know, there's ways of saying it clearly
Yeah.
without having to be like ashamed or weird about it.
Yeah.
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 Yeah. And I mean, my little girl, she's the last year and she's only 2 years old. It's like, I still bathe her, but it's like, you wash your own body. Here you go.
Yeah.
And I just kind of direct her, and it's the cutest thing. The
Yeah.
kid, like, okay, scrub your butt, scrub
Yeah.
the front, and she does it all by herself. 'Cause I'm
Yeah.
like, I'd rather you just do it than me, you know, have to touch you. Or I'm scared of that shit. You know, so like even just like hurting somebody, like if you're
Right.
too rough or something. You know, what I mean? Because everybody knows their body
Yeah.
by themselves, but you know, not someone else.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's really rough, man. I'm glad I'm glad that you're talking about it on here, just because, you know, I do try to give. We have a lot of fun on the show. We talk a lot of stupid shit. I mean, we were at the cemetery, like we said, that was fun, stuff like that. And to see you in that light, you've done so many of these shows by now, where you're just, I mean, everybody thinks of you on the show, I think, just as, you know, you have fun stories and you're willing to talk about all sorts of wild shit, you know. But to see this side of you and to know that you're that well adjusted at this point, where you can be a funny person, where you can be interesting, and not just that, like, it didn't define you.
No.
And this is a huge part of you, I think.
Yeah.
But it's not something that you're just like,
Yeah.
that's not what you're going to get when you meet Maria. So
Yeah. Yeah, I get asked a lot, like, you know, in the beginning, like, why are you closed off, or why are you so this way, you know, because I am friendly, I'm nice, but I also, when it gets personal, like, I'm kind of like,
a little bit more
you know,
boundary.
yeah, like, hey, I have boundaries, and then, you know, like, why are you so like this? And it has to take me a little bit, like, I've gone through a lot of shit.
Yeah.
A lot.
For sure.
There's people that have told me, like, wow, me at my 40 something, you know, I've never been through half the stuff that you've been through. And yeah, like, it makes me the woman that I am. I'm strong. I wish I didn't have to be strong. Like, it sucks.
And so there are ways to cope and to move on from that kind
Yeah.
of thing. I mean, and we spoke about your experience last time, Angelica. Like, what are some ways that you're dealing with just coping and moving on and whole new life kind of thing?
Pretty much just surrounding yourself with good people.
Yeah.
That's a good start. People that you can talk to, people that aren't going to question you and ask you dumb questions, you know, like, why did you stay, or what took you so long, or, you know, when did you realize it was the right time? Like, there was no right time.
Yeah.
Like, you just,
No.
it just happens. And so to be able to surround yourself with good people and to be able to talk about things and just have people listen, it makes such a big difference. And I think that's why, you know, Maria was very adamant about bringing up that story again, is because she had a reason why she opened up, and she had a reason, and her main sole purpose to tell everybody out there that's, you know, fighting and struggling is to not be afraid to speak up.
Yeah. And once you do speak up or break away from whatever bad situation you're in, I think you realize how many people you actually have in your corner.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly.
How many people actually are on your side and believe you. And
But it's hard though too, because like you'll start seeing people like that you thought were your friends,
you
or
all- the other side of that,
even
you
your
also see
even
the
your
people that
family.
drop off.
Like you're like, oh, like they were always there, but then in reality, they weren't. They were just watching.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
they start
They were
dropping
just-
off once you actually come out and
Yeah,
Yep.
make
I mean,
that change. That's
I
when
can't
see
tell
them
you
grow.
how many family members I've personally lost since I started my nonprofit.
Yeah.
They were just there to watch. They're not there to support you. They're just there to watch.
Yeah.
And it's a learning curve.
Which
you know?
sucks, but it's fine. Like,
Yeah.
that's what, you
But
know.
then you make room for the people that are supposed to be there.
Yeah. That's cool.
Yeah, I think it surprised me the most how many people I didn't know were in my corner that have showed me that the last week, and then there's been a couple people that I always thought were in my corner and that have not reached out, didn't even, you know, I saw them watching
Yeah.
and they
They
didn't
don't
say
say
nothing.
nothing.
And I'm like, I kind of understand why, But at the same time, like, I didn't do nothing wrong. I was a child. It's not my fault that happened to me. And I feel like they want to defend that person. And I get it. It's their family member. But they're not that close either.
Yeah.
And even if I'm not as close either, I was a child.
Yeah.
But wrong is
I was a
wrong.
victim.
That's the thing. Like, I don't know, and maybe I'm wrong, but like, I feel like if I was very close to like if one of my brothers who I'm very close to, I find out did something like that, like, that's where it gets cut off. Like, I'm not going to sit there and defend them.
Yeah.
That's where I turn my back, I feel like.
They always love them, but wrong is wrong.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You can't stand for
can't-
that shit.
yeah.
man.
Yeah, exactly. Wrong is wrong, whether, you're close to them or not. You can't defend what they did. No.
That's crazy. And you haven't cried today. Look, I thought you were gonna get some tears.
No, it's emotional, but it's not like it's something I've already
She already let it all out. And
Yeah.
that's the really cool thing about healing the right way, is that you can cry about it for, a full 24 hours. And then after that, you are so much stronger.
Yeah.
So when you go and continue to talk about it, you might tear here and there, but you talk about it, not pridefully, that's kind of the wrong word, but you're stronger.
You're stronger. You
And
can hold
so
your
then
head
it-
up. You're
yeah,
not
and then it
crying,
doesn't matter.
choking.
You can tell your story over
Yeah.
and over and over again, and you're perfect now.
Yeah. I don't know, you maybe you've been around me a lot
Yeah,
the last couple months.
I know.
So I'm sure that you can tell the difference, because I
Absolutely.
definitely know the difference.
That's why I tell you, like, dude, I'm proud of you. Like,
Yeah.
you're a lot stronger, and you can, go days and just smile and laugh. And,
Yeah.
like, yeah, shit happened to you, but
Yeah.
it doesn't faze her. It's just a part of her past now. Like, it's not her.
Yeah.
It's not who she is anymore. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, I went. The biggest thing for me was knowing that I feel I healed from this and that I'm okay. Is like, I've been on vacations by myself lately, and when I go, I'm in my own head. I'm trying to enjoy, the scenery and everything going on, but I'm in my head thinking about all these problems, all these things that I'm going through. Like, why do these things happen to me? And I cry. I break down a lot. And this last weekend, I took a trip by myself. I was like, no, I gotta go. Like, business is business. I took care of it, really late at night, making sure everything was ready for the next day. But I was ready to go.
Was
She got
that on
muscles out of it.
Sunday.
Was that on Sunday?
Yeah.
Well, that's what was insane, because Sunday I hit you up when I was done doing my thing. I was DJing, and it was like
3 in
so
the
I was
morning.
done at 3 a.m. So I hit you up because I know
Yeah.
sometimes you're up late. So
I had actually just gone to sleep.
and so I wanted to tell you about my dramatic ass night, but you didn't answer until the morning, and you were like, "Oh, it's because I'd barely gone to sleep at 2." I'm like, "Okay," so I went back to sleep.
Yeah.
Wake up a few hours later and like look at your stories, and you're like somewhere far away. I'm like, "How the hell?" I was like, "Did she not just say she was up till like 2?"
Yeah. No, I took care of business, and then I was like, I got to take care of me now. And that trip, I enjoyed every second of it. And most of the time, I think 6 hours of that whole period, I didn't have service. So my phone didn't go off, and I couldn't even post anything. I just took pictures and videos. And then when I get back on the road, and all of a sudden my phone just boom, it just starts going and going. And I was like, oh man, like, that was nice. That was so nice.
You think that's a big part of your coping and healing then, is like nature?
Recently, I love nature.
Was it nature, or is it just the trip, just the loneliness?
Both. I've done a lot of both. Like, there's a lot of times where I just go to Utah. Like, I just go to Utah by myself. Or I take my kids. When they're with me, I take them. We just go to Utah. Just the drive. When I lived in Blackfoot, I would take the back road because I love just,
The scenery.
seeing,
The
the scenery.
scenic route
It's
all the way down to
always,
Utah?
but I've always been that way. I just haven't been in touch with nature till lately again. Like, I love waterfalls. I love the river. I love the water, and it's so beautiful. It's nice. It's so relaxing. Like, you just forget about everything.
Doing things new is really relaxing. Like, we figured out how to play darts
Yeah.
on Friday. We didn't know how to play. We didn't know what was happening. But
Yep.
we went, an hour and a half
Yep.
playing, and that's all we did was play. We
Yep.
didn't talk about anything.
No,
Like,
we didn't talk about traumas.
didn't
or
talk about
problems or
trauma, stress, nothing.
Is
Like,
that
it
your
was just
guys'
game.
usual conversations? Is like your trauma?
Yeah.
Most of the time, or kids.
Kids, life, trauma, like,
Yeah.
I don't know, like we could talk about everything that we've gone through, and
Yeah.
it's
Last time we were
good.
here, you guys had just gone to that movie. You said you were crying in the movie.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
What
Yeah.
was that movie again?
It Ends With
It
Us.
ends
Oh,
with
yeah, that's
us.
right.
Mhm.
Yep.
Have you seen it yet?
I haven't seen it yet.
It's
Is
good.
it out on like on streaming and shit yet? Or not?
I don't think so.
no.
Movies are
so.
out quick on streaming though. I know Inside Out
Maybe.
2 is coming out this month already.
Oh,
And it's
really?
like, and it's
Uh-huh.
like
That's a
we
cute
just
movie.
and we
Is
just
it?
barely saw it in theaters.
Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so
It's a cute movie.
Yeah.
you guys
I
cry
don't-
a lot with movies.
That was the first movie I've ever
Yeah,
cried.
I was gonna say. I
Really?
think that movie
I have
just
never.
it hit us just because it's like
It hit
we
home.
knew
Relatable.
what. Yeah, we knew
Yeah.
like what she was going
Mhm.
through. We knew, you know,
Mhm.
and it just hit us because we're like we went through that.
Yeah.
You guys didn't cry with like Titanic and shit.
No.
No,
Nothing.
did I cry through
Kind of-
Grey's Anatomy?
Kind of crazy.
yeah.
You just mentioned Titanic. Like, that movie was actually when it was happening to me when I was getting
Oh,
molested.
that makes sense. Timeline
Yeah.
makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
So I wouldn't.
So
Yeah,
do you not
there's-
watch? Are there things like that that you relate to that time that you're like, I can't fucking watch it because
Chucky.
Chucky?
Chucky. But I was 6 years old when that movie was out, and it terrified me. But there was a couple other movies I remember during this.
You remember
same
like
time.
the pop culture kind of stuff that was going on at the time.
And
That's terrible. See, that's another thing that gets ruined. I mean, it's like it's
I-
like one of the more minimal
movies,
things, but still, it's like it
see,
fucks
so
you
like
up.
when we were at that movie, when we got done, I said I didn't even cry at Lion King.
Yeah.
There's
Yeah.
a reason why I didn't cry at Lion King. That man was there during that movie.
Oh fuck.
So I was focused on something else
You were
instead of the
into
movie.
the movie.
Yeah.
That guy was there, like you were watching it, like what, in the theater or something?
His house was like a theater.
Oh,
So
that's gross. You
I
must
know.
play kids movies so I can fuck them.
well, that didn't happen, but he
Well, that's
molested
what he wanted,
us.
that's what
yeah,
I'm saying.
he molested us for sure. I mean, a lot of the neighbors, his own kids, would all go. They set it up like a movie theater,
That's
you
so
know.
gross.
They had a big TV.
That's so gross
So-
once you find out the motive, you know, like. And I can see why somebody would think that's a heroic, like a nice man, like, oh, that nice man that used to play movies for the kids.
Yeah,
Like,
and
fucking A.
I mean, I don't remember exactly. I remember like his older kids were the ones that would put the movies on for us, and then he would get home from work, and that's when it would happen.
That's horrible.
But like, yeah, he would grab our
like a
hands like on
block.
his way
Yeah.
to the back, grab our hands, and then we'd have to follow him and sit in the back of the theater.
Jeez.
It's horrible.
Yeah,
It's a good movie, too, to ruin.
Mm-hmm.
yeah. I mean, Titanic's not a kid movie,
Oh, no.
Oh, we thought you were talking about Lion King.
Yeah, I was talking about
but Lion King, yeah, Lion King, Titanic.
Titanic is
Tarzan.
overrated. I didn't see Titanic until maybe 10 years ago, so after it was already out for like 20 years.
Oh, really?
I finally watched it, and I was like, well, it wasn't bad, but
Mhm.
like, this is what you've been raving about for decades?
I think it's because of the time when it happened in the 90s.
I
Like,
guess.
We were
It
just
was-
little.
yeah. And it was stuff like that we didn't watch, you know, it was very like
It was adult.
yeah, we weren't allowed to.
I remember that
even
was
in
the big
90s.
thing was like
yeah.
there's a naked lady in
Yeah.
Titanic.
Yeah. And now it's like
No, there's a naked
what?
lady in everything.
Yeah. Exactly. Like it's we don't see it as bad now when we see it, but
Yeah.
in the 90s it was bad.
Yeah, and if anything, it was a naked lady. It was actually one of the more tasteful naked ladies I've seen on. Like it wasn't raunchy. It was no human centipede, that's for sure.
Oh God! Have you seen that movie?
You have to talk about it on every podcast.
That movie.
Do you like it?
Scar you? No.
It's great.
It's
Have you watched?
Did you watch
great.
it?
Did you watch
Yeah.
the whole one, the first one?
Yeah.
Did you watch the second and
The
third
OG?
one?
No.
Also? No. Oh.
I was
Just
told
watch
what
the
it was
OG.
about, and I've never been able to forget. And I don't watch it. I
Tell me,
don't
we
wanna
gotta get a
watch
bunch
it.
of us. I'm gonna do my own movie theater, and we're gonna watch.
Just grab like a sheet. Put it
We're
right
gonna
here.
watch the. Can we do that here? We'll sell tickets,
We'll sell
and we'll
tickets.
watch, and we'll just play all three of them.
Adult movie night. Yeah.
The Human Centipede trilogy for spooky season.
For spooky season. Is that what you're gonna dress up as for Halloween?
Oh my gosh, that would be so funny.
Hey, I need 2 more people for the. You guys down or what?
Don't cut me
I
in.
get to be the front though.
I thought you wanted
So
to
we're
be
gonna
the
go to
middle.
haunted houses this year. Like the haunted
Hey.
houses. We should do that.
I
Yeah.
love pumpkin patches too. I take my kids. I love pumpkin
For the
patches.
kids, it's the best. We went
Yeah.
last year to the, I don't even know what it's called,
Sweden,
but they have like
the
the
Sweden farm. That one's fun.
So much stuff to do. Like you just spend all day out there.
Yeah.
The Wild Adventure Corn Maze.
That one
That stuff is
too.
fun too.
Yeah.
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 And
We
I
didn't
like
go
like the
last year to that
haunted,
one.
the haunted straw maze and all that shit. I
Uh-huh.
like
I
those.
do too. Except for
fun.
like, I hate the screaming. After a
Yeah.
certain point, I'm like, I'm done.
Yeah.
Not doing it.
I haven't
But-
gone to a haunted house.
We
since
should.
before
That
I
would be
had
fun. And we'll
kids.
put you in the front.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah.
Well, I'm down. I love
That's
haunted
crazy.
places.
I haven't been to a haunted house since I had kids.
It'd be fun.
Really?
Yeah.
Let's go. Let's
I
go
know.
this year. Let's
We
hit up a
should.
bunch of them.
We got it.
I think I told you about it before. The one in Blackfoot, the one at the fairgrounds. That one was my favorite,
Oh, I
just because
haven't
it's
gone
so
to that
long.
one.
I didn't even,
Like
see. I
it-
lived right there, and I didn't
was
even
like-
know they had one.
Yeah, it was like the most expensive one I've ever done. But even then, it wasn't bad. Maybe
you gone to
it might have been
Albion?
like $40 or something. Nuh-uh.
I haven't gone out.
I've heard of that.
I've heard that
a lot
one's
of that.
That's
super
the one out
terrifying.
towards
Like
Twin.
Pesperly. Yeah.
Okay, yeah. I haven't.
That's
been
supposed to be
that
real shit, though,
Yeah, well,
isn't
that
it?
well,
Like,
yeah,
supposed
and
to
then they
be
make
really
you like
haunted?
sign a waiver, but I don't like the ones where they're allowed to like touch you.
You sign the waiver so they can touch you, they grab
Yeah,
you
I'm
and
like,
stuff.
no, seen too many scary movies. I know what happens.
Yeah. Because that's the thing. What if you think it's like a performer
I
and it's like a
know,
real,
and it's real.
like a real
That's why I'm like,
kidnapper.
I won't
Yeah.
go to those ones. I'll go
you're
to
like,
the other
you're so
ones.
fun, and next thing you know, you're
You're
Yeah.
dying.
saw.
Yeah.
I always remember I went on a date, the first date to Tonia.
Oh, you
The
told
one
me
over
about
there.
that one?
It
About
was
the
cool.
Tall guy.
Yeah, it was cool.
What happened?
Well, there was only one scary part for me, but it was real. Like there was tunnels, so you got on the little cart, and like it was gross. It smelled gross, but it was cool because I had this big old tall guy, and he was muscly, and he's
Aw.
taking care of me. I think he did it on purpose. And then we had to run because some guy was chasing us with the chainsaw, and
That's
I'm like,
my favorite.
I'm like, what if it is a real chainsaw?
Yeah, they just have the
What
chain
if they
on.
touch you with
They don't have
it
the
by
chain on it.
The
accident?
chain on it, so it can't like do anything.
Just the motors
Oh,
running, but there's
see?
nothing on it.
This is the stuff I need to learn. I just learned something new today.
I saw the one at I think it was the straw maze. The one guy couldn't start his chainsaw. It was the funniest thing.
Oh.
He tries to be all scary, and he was sitting there. It was great.
I'm not scared of clowns. I think it's weird to be scared of clowns.
Yeah.
So I
Kind
need
of
to.
same. Like
they're
I like clowns. I can see why you wouldn't like them, but I can't see being afraid of them either. But.
So you know, like when was it? 2011 maybe, 2010 when the clown thing happened.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Maybe
It was around that
2012.
time.
Some minute ago, yeah.
Yeah, it was wild because
Where they would
I
just
want to say it
stand
was.
up at the schools and stuff.
Yeah.
Or a corner or something.
Yeah. Well, my daughter, I think she was 2 years old. We went to the circus, and the clown, like that had just happened, and this clown just like walks on stage and starts shooting people with the water gun. She was terrified.
Well, yeah.
Still talks about it to this day.
Aw.
And she couldn't even talk, you know. And I'm like, this is why people hate clowns, because they don't give a crap.
Yeah.
They just,
They're
yeah.
They
quiet.
goof on
They
you.
don't talk.
Do you like
Yeah.
do you like clown movies though, like scary clowns?
I don't see
Like
it.
Terrifier.
I
Did you
haven't
guys watch
watched it.
Oh
Terrifier?
gosh, I hate that movie. Both movies.
Terrifier.
Have
I
you
haven't
seen
watched the
and
second
two?
one.
Oh god, they're so graphic.
I think that's why I like them because I'm not much like I don't get scared of stuff, so I don't
They're
really
really
like
gory.
scary
I used
stuff.
to
But
love,
I like gory stuff.
I hate gory stuff.
Like
It
I
makes
love
me
Saw,
lightheaded.
like the Saw, Final Destination. I love all that
I
shit.
watched
Watch
those
Terrifier
ones.
too.
And I watch like Terrifier 1 where he has that lady like with her legs
yeah,
up
and
and
she,
then
like,
cuts her in
cuts her
half.
right in half.
That shit is
like
nuts.
yeah, from
I don't
Tienen cuero.
yeah,
really.
just straight, even like through her head.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Oh man.
And they
The
show
second
it
one's
all.
I
It's
used to-
pretty
because,
cool.
I used to
he
just
peels her
watch.
skull, like he peels off her like
Really?
her skin. Ugh, it's
And I remember
nasty.
that when Terrifier was like new on Netflix, like the clown kept coming up, and my daughter, she had to have been like 2-3 years old. She kept telling me she wanted to watch the clown movie. I was like, "Es pa' niños." And she's like, "No, it's cool, it's cool." I was like, "All right." It's like, "I'm gonna hit play on it, and let's see if you actually like it."
Mm-hmm.
Like the very first scene, he tears like this lady's face off, and so my kid just gets completely frightened and runs to her room. And so I'm like, "I told you it wasn't good."
She's gonna be on a podcast in 20 years talking about how you
The trauma.
terrified her.
She kept insisting, so I was like, "I'll let you watch it then." And then, yeah, sure enough, I didn't think it was gonna be that bad. Like I thought it'll be scary. Opening scenes are always scary.
Yeah.
I didn't think it was that graphic.
That
But that's why,
graphic.
like after I watched it by myself, and I was like, "That was a badass movie."
Yeah. No, I used to love watching scary movies. Like my parents would be at work, you know, in the winter it gets dark soon, and I'd watch The Ring all the time.
Oh, The Ring was okay.
Or Paranormal Activity.
I thought that one was boring.
It was boring, but it's like I deal with stuff like that. No, I don't deal with stuff like that. But things like that have happened.
You have cameras in your room? You
no, not
stand
cameras,
up in
but
front of your bed for
just
the whole
stuff
night?
that like, I'm like, whoa, like that was weird,
Yeah.
you know?
There's a lot of weird
I mean, things I've talked about in other podcasts with you that have happened. I'm like, like I believe in those things.
Yeah.
I do. So I was just watching by myself.
Yeah.
And The Ring, I thought it was scary, but I'd watch it all the time because I thought it was cool.
Did you watch the newer one?
I don't know.
It
I
came out
haven't.
maybe
I
5,
honestly,
6 years ago.
I haven't seen any like scary movies in the last since I had kids.
Oh, you should
Like-
watch it. It was interesting because it was the same thing, the video, but
Mhm.
nowadays instead of back then it was the tape, the VHS,
Right.
But now it's like they were sending it in an email to everybody, so everybody was watching it, so everybody was gonna die.
Wow.
It was pretty cool.
Oh, yeah. It's crazy. Yeah, I'm like just not used to just watching anything scary or doing anything like. Their dad, I think, was super scared of stuff, and so he's
really?
like, "Why do you like you're
Why do you
bringing the
watch it?"
devil in?"
Oh,
you
that's
know.
so stupid.
And so I kind of was like, "Oh, I have kids now. Like I can't act like that. You know, I'm grown up. I can't do that." So yeah, like there's a lot of things I stopped doing.
My parents were always talking about The Exorcist and how it's the scariest movie ever, and how it felt
The
like the devil
Exorcist.
was in the room when you watched it. and
I think
stuff.
I did
yeah.
watch that.
So, because they watched it, it's
Mhm.
a movie from the 70s. They watched it in the movies, like back in Mexico. I think we were living in Mexico City at the time.
Oh,
One
okay.
of the
So-
original Exorcist movies where the little
Like
girl.
the very 1st
Uh-huh.
one, yeah, that's the one they were talking about. And they never let us watch it. So when I was finally out on my own, when I was like 19.
Mhm.
That was like one of the first things I did. It was like, oh, I'm gonna watch The Exorcist. And me and my older brother, we were living together. We watched it, and it was just like,
It's just not the same thing. You're like when you're little, it like
Yeah.
terrifies you. But when you get older, you're like, I was scared of that.
yeah,
It's
Yeah.
like the original It movie. Like that
Yeah,
scared
yeah,
me
yeah.
when I was little, and then watching it now, I'm like, really?
it's like that was stupid.
That
as
is
hell.
dumb.
So
I
one-
like the voices in The Exorcist when she's like, "Oh, fuck your mother." And all
Oh
that
yeah,
shit.
yeah. See, I have watched it. I'm like, it's coming back to me right
Yeah.
now. The one that I really liked was Wrong Turn. Do you guys know which one that is? It was like
so familiar.
cannibalism.
Oh
Mhm.
yeah.
Like they take they're like in traffic or something, and they're trying to get out, and they end up going through the forest, and there's cannibals there.
Yep.
To me, like why I like watching it so much was because like I feel like I have dreams like that all the time.
Where you take a wrong turn and you're in the wrong situation.
I just have scary dreams, very vivid dreams
That's
that
crazy.
I get asked like, how do you have a dream every single night?
Do you dream every night?
All the time.
They say we all do, but we don't always remember.
I'd
Yeah, I was gonna
remember
say.
it like 90% of the time. I remember
Really?
my dreams. It's kind of crazy.
I feel like I'd have to talk about it like the second I wake up.
Immediately
'Cause then
after,
if
yeah.
not, if I get up and move, I don't remember.
And even sometimes,
Yeah.
what happens to me, I'll start talking about it to someone, and like as I'm going, I'm like, and then like it just kind of fades away. I'm like, I think, like, fuck, I just lost
I
it.
have nightmares all the time, and I
Really?
wake up in the middle of it, and I can describe it. But if I go back to sleep, and I didn't write it down or like record it or whatever, it goes away. I won't remember it. But I do remember that I woke up from a scary dream.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
I only remember stupid dreams. Like I dreamed once that my brother and I were like in a jail cell,
Uh-huh.
but like everybody was able to visit us, and all around the jail cell there was like these cupboards, and we had a bunch of cereal, and we were reading like Cocoa Puffs and shit. And then we started singing, and like every song we sang, they were different songs, but everyone would end the same. We would always end with "Las rejas no matan, pero si tu maldito quiere." Then we'd start singing something else, and it would end the same way again. And I was like, and like those type of dreams that are just complete nonsense. Like I remember them. This had to have been
Yeah.
well over a decade ago.
That's
funny.
funny. That is funny.
It's just a stupid ass dream.
You're
But
gonna have to record that. We'll use it as your ringtone.
for real, huh? I like movies that are like scary but like super nonsense. I guess that's why I like Human Centipede. That's not gonna
Yeah.
happen. The cannibalism kind of stuff. That's probably not gonna happen. The one with the truck driver, fucking Joyride. Did you guys ever watch that
I
one?
don't think I've
Where
seen
they're
it.
fucking with him over the radio, and they're like, "This is candy cane." They're trying to lure him, and then he just chases him down the whole time. He's like, "Candy cane." You guys never watched that shit?
Uh-uh.
And it's this psycho truck driver just chasing down these kids that were fucking with him over the radio.
Wow.
Just stuff like that. Like I like that kind of
Yeah.
stuff. Like it's so stupid. I'm not gonna sit here and say like it should win a fucking Oscar or something.
Yeah.
But but I was entertained for a while. It was fun.
No, I like suspenseful movies. You know, I can't remember what the movie is called, but there's one that I really liked. It was like a 911 operator, and then the girl's on the phone. She's
The one with Halle Berry.
Yes, that
I've seen
one.
that one. That
That
one's a
one.
good one.
It's
Yeah,
really
pretty
good.
The suspense movie that like
Yep.
keeps you going.
Yeah, the whole time. And I always like picture myself in that movie, like this stuff could happen to me.
Secretly a
I
guest
really
star.
get it. I get into it. Like I get into it.
She does. She's a talker.
Oh yeah, in movies.
Well,
And-
just that movie. She was
Oh.
just like, that's
I
it.
honestly never talk in movies, and it was crazy that movie, like, I was the narrator.
She was. She's like, that's me. I want that.
The whole time.
She yelled at me though. That was the best part.
It's like, why did you bring me here?
And everybody's like looking at us.
Yeah, like the
And I was
whole.
like, I thought you
It was
lifted
it was
up.
a full theater
It was
too.
a full
Wow.
thing.
Yeah, and we were sitting right in the
Mhm, right in the
middle.
middle.
You didn't get any shh.
We just got stirred up.
We didn't.
I
Nobody
don't.
said anything.
We were just too busy laughing and
Yeah.
like, I don't know. They probably did. We just didn't. Hear
You
'em.
didn't even notice.
Yeah, we
Yeah.
didn't hear
And
'em.
I was like, that's me.
I've been doing the last couple of times we've been to the movies, my kids and I. Like at the end of the movie, I start clapping.
Oh yeah.
And the last time everybody started clapping was at the end of, we went and watched Coraline. It was out for like the 15th anniversary.
Uh-huh.
like
Just
that
everybody started clapping. My daughter's like,
I've
that's
never
so
seen that movie."
embarrassing.
That's so embarrassing.
And we get home, and my brother was at the house, and like my daughter right away was like, told him like, oh, he started clapping, then everybody started clapping, and he's like, you know what you should do next time is like standing ovation. He's like, that's your next goal. I was like, hell yeah.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
And it's just funny. You got to embarrass your kids. Like that.
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely.
I don't know. I've thought like there's things that I've done that I embarrass my kids, and they're like no, and other things that I don't think embarrasses them.
That's what gets them.
And that's what gets them. Like I've had the two little ones tell me, "Don't come to my school." Everybody says stuff about you.
Aw.
That's
Like,
funny.
is that really your mom?
Yeah.
Or your mom's hot?
Oh, you get to be the hot mom.
She's the hot mom.
That's cool.
I get the. That's not your sister.
I'm like I was lucky.
I'm tiny.
I never got like I remember friends that had the hot mom. I was lucky enough that my mom was not hot. Can't imagine.
But you
how
always
that
have
would
like
be.
the strict mom, the hot mom, the careless mom. You know.
Yeah. Yeah, my mom was one of the cool ones, I think, for sure. Like,
Yeah.
my friends liked her, but she wasn't hot. So
Yeah.
she was I'm one of the younger ones. She was too old by the time I was in school to be the hot one.
I'm like, I feel like I'm too old for them to be little 8-year-olds calling me hot.
Pervin over here.
8-year-olds.
Oh man,
Like,
Maria.
don't come in my classroom because they say that your mom's hot.
Jesus. No, yeah, I don't know. Like, I think, like, with that, like, I was doing it just for fun. And once I realized it was embarrassing her, it's like, okay, now I got to do it every time.
Now you got it's
It
how
comes
mean.
Like, it would have been like a one-time thing if she would have been embarrassed.
But now it's fun.
But now it's the best.
Yeah. I sat in the class. I told you I sat in the lunchroom with my daughter thinking after a little bit I was like, oh shoot, this is embarrassing to her probably. No, Mom, you're cool. I love
Oh,
you. And I was
that's
like,
good.
oh.
That's good. I've gone on field trips
Uh-huh.
for the last couple of years. And,
That's
like,
fun.
that's what my daughter was telling me that her friend told her to make sure I go on a field trip again this year because it's always fun when I go. And I'm like, yes. I'm like, I'm
That's so
still in.
sweet.
I'm like,
Yeah.
one more
Good
year of
times.
being cool, like,
Yeah.
There
before
you-
they tell me not to come around anymore.
That's weird.
That's awesome.
But,
Yeah.
yeah. You think it's time, Maria?
It's time for valuable life lessons. Yes.
Do you think that sounds like? Do you think?
What,
Do you think that
valuable
sounds
life
like a
lessons?
Mexican lady?
valuable life lessons.
Yeah. That's you?
That's me.
Because that's what we were talking about. Sean thought that he was like, he was saying it back, but he was like saying like this, almost like Speedy Gonzalez type of thing to it.
Uh-huh.
I was like, that's not how she said it. And then Victor said the same thing. Sounds like a super white lady. But he's like, no. He's like, he said there was an accent. I don't
Just
think
proper. That's why.
Maybe that's
Just
what it is.
proper.
Maybe that's what it is.
I
But
used
that's
to be
the.
more proper. Now I'm like getting a little ghetto all
No,
the time. I find myself swearing a lot more often than I should.
Yeah. I think swearing's like a sign of intelligence or something.
Well, then I'm so
No
intelligent.
care.
Yeah.
This past Saturday, actually, had no idea that we ran out completely of ice from the back, and it was 11 on the dot, and I said, "We gotta open the store!" Like two of my employees were here, And I run out to go grab the ice. I unlock the door, turn on the sign. You know, the drinks are all set up, but had no ice in it. And I'm like, nobody's here. Like, I got time. I run out. By the time I get back in, there was somebody coming through the front door, and I didn't see. And I was like, there's no effing ice. I mean, no effing ice. And I said it at the top of my lungs. And I had no idea there was a customer.
Did they react in any way?
Yes. And he like took it like it was so funny. And I said it in
That's
English.
good.
I said it in English, and he goes, no hay pinche hielo. And he
That's
laughed.
good. I think nowadays that's a little more the reaction, but you're still in danger of like it being
like,
some
crap.
grumpy ass.
But I'm just like, oh no, like they know me as like sweet, kind Maria, like
They see her crazy side.
yeah. And I actually had a friend, like somebody that my friend's friend thinks very highly of me, and then he walks in and said, and I was, you know, going off about something that happened recently, and I said the F word, like I just was so angry, and I was showing my emotion, and he goes, whoa, is that you? And I said, what? Like, you never heard me swear before? I'm like, no. It's just like, he just thinks you're a saint all the time.
My oldest daughter sometimes slips and will swear,
Oh, yeah?
but I'm like, at least it's in Spanish. Like,
Not that it makes it any better.
to me, it does that, and I've told them because they like there was a very brief period where they were both of them were telling each other like, I hate you, and I was like, don't fucking say that. It's like, I'd rather you guys swear
Uh-huh.
than tell each other you hate it. Like, that's
Yeah.
worse to me than like a swear word.
So growing up, when I was learning swear words, like 15, 16, 17 years old, I would hardly say the F word, but I would be like the B word and, you know, shit and stuff like that. I could not say a swear word in Spanish. Spanish to me just meant so much more that I was like, I'm going to get like my mouth broken by my mom if she ever hears me say. Because I remember saying the B word in Spanish when
Yeah.
I was 4, and boom, I got knocked out.
Wow.
Yep,
Yeah,
and I
see.
knew never to swear again.
We never.
So-
I never swore in front of my parents either. But
I was swearing
I don't
to
think
my
they would've-
cousin. I didn't know
really?
it was a swear word.
Well, it's because,
Oh.
like, back then, as we're growing up, we say something, we say a bad word, and we get, you know, our butts kicked. But kids nowadays, you go to the mall, and that's
And
all
it's-
you
it's-
hear. And I'm like, what?
Mhm.
yeah.
What?
And it makes me feel old because I'm like, why am I like all offended by this?
I
Like,
know.
that's how I talk. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, but we
No,
had
my
to wait
mom,
to
never.
grow
My
up.
Yeah.
mom, my mom didn't mess around. My mom didn't even tell you no. She
Yeah.
just boom,
yeah.
like
No warning.
yeah. I remember I fell to the ground. I was 4. I was in my grandma's kitchen, like, because I could barely talk, you know, like full sentences with my cousins, and I just repeated what they said, and my mom would just boom my mouth, and it was usually with a belt, you know. So
Oh,
when
that's
she
the
hit me in
worst.
the mouth, it was
Oh.
like
Ouch.
I said something I wasn't
Yep.
supposed to. So yeah.
The only time I ever got my ass beat, I was like 4 years old, and I still remember it, was because I was using I finished like a sucker, a
Mhm.
lollipop, and I said the stick was my cigarette, and my dad just beat the hell out of me. And I was like, you know, but the joke's on him because like I still like cigarettes, and he's dead now. So
That was the start of my addiction.
yeah, that's what
That
it
was the start of my
It's
addiction.
like, I'll show you, and he's dead now, and I still have a pack of cigarettes in my car that I chip away at, you know. I'm not a big smoker. Like, I have a pack that'll last me a month or two,
Mhm.
but they're there. They're fun. They're
They're
enjoyable.
A de-stressor.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think it is time. That's the new way to end the show.
Valuable life lessons.
As we go around telling each other a valuable life lesson we learned from the episode. So who wants to start?
I guess I'll start. I mean, what I spoke about, you know, I learned my valuable life lesson was I learned that me speaking opened up a whole thing for a lot of people, and they were able to speak about what they've been through, and it made me realize like I'm not the only one, especially like that my mom wasn't there for me, and there's all these other women also that their mom wasn't there for them.
Yeah.
And it's shocking. And as much as it hurt me, like I felt like it even hurt me more to hear them tell
From
me.
someone else.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I think it's totally teachable for you and you know, all those people in our generation to be the parent that's there for their kids.
Yeah.
Yeah. I definitely talk about to my kids a lot I ask them all the time, hey, like, would you be comfortable with telling me if anything like this ever happened? I want you guys to be open with me. Like, don't be scared. Even if they tell you, they're going to kill you or they're going to do something to you, like, please always be open with me about everything. And we have a very open relationship with each other. I think that they don't hide things from me from what I know. I hope. And I hope it always stays that way.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's really nice. It's different, the relationship I have with them, than what I did with my parents. And it makes me happy.
That's awesome.
Valuable life lessons.
I would say, valuable life lesson on this one is, going through Maria's, live and her story that she was scared to share, but she shared, like, don't let nobody silence you. Don't let nobody tell you that you can't share your story. You have that story for a reason, and it hurts you for a reason, so you've got to open up, because you'll have so much more opportunities once you do.
Yeah.
So not to stay silent.
Valuable life lessons.
Don't stay silent. I think that's a big one. And I think that's kind of what I'm going to go with, is don't stay silent. And on the other side of that is don't try to make anyone stay silent. Back them up and be there for them. And that's what I try to be, and that's why, whenever you guys want to come on, for sure, all 7 of our listeners will be enjoying this podcast or be digging deep into this story. So,
speaking of your 7 listeners, our 7 followers, our events coming up here this Saturday, the 21st, at 7 p.m. here at Aguas Maria.
Yep. So it's a good safe space for women or even men that are struggling, that just want to be surrounded by, other survivors and just be in a good spot for a little bit. Like, that's what we're doing this for. Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's Saturday the 21st at 7 p.m. here at Aguas Maria in Idaho Falls.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, and we're not victims. We're survivors.
Yep.
Hell yeah,
Absolutely.
I like that. And then there's gonna be raffles and stuff there. So.
Yes.
We got some good raffles. We've
food.
got some delicious food coming. So.
Yep.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, it's exciting. What's the cost?
I'd have to remember. Right now, if you get the tickets now, it's $45, and then I believe at the door it's $55. So the day of, it's $55 to get in.
Yeah, and it all goes.
Includes,
it goes towards.
It just goes towards our nonprofit. It goes towards finding our forever building. It goes to all the proceeds for that.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, so
Raising
hope to see a
funds.
lot of people here and raise the funds, and of course, find, especially if you need that help, come on out. So so come check it out.
We're trying to, we're trying to get this building, and hopefully we get closer with that. And if anybody listening knows of any organizations or businesses that want to donate, that want to help us out with Angelica's vision, we'd love that help. We need all the help we can get.
Yep, we love the support. We'd love, the community coming together and just supporting one another and helping us get another additional resource out there that people can utilize when they need it.
Yep.
Okay.
October 11th, too, there's another one.
Yep, so October 11th, we're joining another organization in Blackfoot, and they're doing the Stop the Violence charity ball.
Yeah.
You can get your tickets now, or you can get them at the door. But it's a big, beautiful event. It's a formal event, so you got to dress really fancy.
Like a black tie kind of thing?
Yeah. Like a really pretty dress, really nice
ball.
suit. Mm-hmm. It's a beautiful ball, but all the proceeds for that go to the Bingham. Is it Bingham, Blackfoot?
Yep.
Yeah,
Bingham.
it goes to the Bingham shelter down there.
Yep, and the Fort Hall one, right?
And the Fort Hall victims, yep.
For both of them.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we're gonna be there. We'll 16-14 will go and show support and be a team effort on that one.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, we're excited.
Yeah, so I'm glad there's that, because I think this will come out after the fact. I'll clip it though, so we can announce it and like promote it before Saturday. But
Okay.
Hell yeah. That's good. Other than that, I think we're out of here, guys. I do want to thank. We have a sponsor now. I was going to tell you about that before the show.
Awesome.
But of course, I'll be putting it at the beginning of the episode. But thanks, shout out to Yesi Puerto Vallarta. He's down to promote the show, and hopefully that gets us a few more things
Cool.
down the
That's
road. Cool. Thanks, Maria. Again, of course, you're a big part of this. I was Maria, as always. Feels like our home now. Our homeless.
You're not homeless, though.
We're not too homeless. Especially because it's so fucking cold now. It's like, oh, let's just go to your spot.
I think it stopped raining.
Yeah, at least it stopped raining. But yeah, thank you, Angelica, again. Of course, anytime you want to come back on, just let me know.
Yeah.
We'll hop on. And we'll see y'all on the next one.
Yes. Bye.
Bye.